if you feel like you're always getting friend zoned, then I want to just talk about a reframe that might help. So here's the truth. Being placed in the friend zone isn't a life sentence. It's often just like a vibe that people pick up on. And you may be happening without you even realizing it. So if you're consistently in the position where you're thinking, I always get put in the friend zone, then you may actually not be trying to be their friend in the first place. What you're doing likely is interacting with women, not truly as an individual or as a friend, but as a potential date, but using friendship as an in. And that focus, while subconscious, is detectable by most people subconsciously, right? You may be putting that out subconsciously and they are subconsciously picking up on that. And, so it's like if you meet someone and you feel like they have some other motive, I'm not talking about romantically, in any other way, it's like you have that defensiveness. It's like you go into a store and somebody who's working on commission and you just like feel that. And even if they're genuinely trying to help you find what you want, often you just like feel defensive because you're like, they're pretending to be cool and nice to me, but they want something out of me. And regardless of your intentions, that is subconsciously being projected and picked up on. Right? So if someone meets you and it feels subconsciously like you're thinking, I wonder if this could be my next girlfriend before you even really know them, then subconsciously it feels strategic, or like, they're just trying to plug you into a role that's already been cast, and people just sense that, right? So that vibe on the Prowl Vibe can be off-putting. Women do want to feel desired, of course, but there's a different idea of when you're presenting yourself as a friend, but hoping that they're going to be more than a friend. It feels like a duality subconsciously, and that can just set off alarm bells, even if the intentions are not bad, right? Okay, so it may not be, the rejection may not be because of your looks or your job or your height, just this energy. So being lonely, it sucks. Rejection hurts, and I do understand that, absolutely. So if you're approaching fixing this feeling of loneliness and rejection through dating apps or asking more people, it's like, if I'm getting turned down X amount of times, so I need to increase my amount of approaches in order to get one yes, right? You may be feeding the wrong thing and reinforcing the belief that your worth is tied to being chosen. That can just keep you in the same loop. So this is tough for me to especially talk about in a short video because it's layered, right? I understand. But I would say my advice is to temporarily stop hunting and start working on how you live your life. So building a life that you love and enriching your life in other ways. Joining clubs, volunteering, taking classes to build your skills. You will meet people through that, but not just to date them, not to impress them, just to enrich your life, connect, build your friendships, build your group of friends, build your skills. If you think of it that way, it lowers the pressure, it dials down any vibes that may be confusing to people. And actually, you're making yourself a more interesting, more attractive person in the making. If you are like, I kind of, maybe I'm going to get into jujitsu, whatever. Go into jujitsu as a way to improve your life, improve your skills, improve your confidence, make friends in a community. And that enrichment of your life, it gives you something to talk about. It makes you more fit, maybe. It helps you have better friendships, better social skills, better physical skills, builds your confidence. Those are things that in turn will make you a more attractive person. But just don't make that the focus. I'm going to try to get girls by doing jujitsu. Focus on doing the things that interest you, that enrich your life, that make you a better, more interesting, more developed person. And then the side effect of that is often you will meet someone that will then be attracted to you and attracted to those qualities. Also, when you start enriching your life, I'm going to go running, I'm going to go join a group that does a hiking, I'm going to join a pickleball club, I'm going to do a volunteering on the weekends for something I care about. It fills out your life. It decreases loneliness. It increases community connection. And you're likely to meet people who are interested in the same things you're interested in. And that is much, much better chances of a good, real connection than anything you're going to find by swiping. And better friendships and a better you, right? And the side effect of a better you is the higher likelihood of making a good romantic connection at some point as well, right? So my number one advice to people, if you're stuck in this loop, especially if you're trying to online date, or if you're just lonely, is not to focus on getting dates for a while, but really focus on how you can develop yourself. And that also may mean go to therapy, right? Or do meditation or whatever kind of speaks to you to develop yourself mentally, emotionally, to develop your community connections, right? We have fewer and fewer connections to community than ever, I think, because of the way our lives work, how fast you can work from home. We have the phone, the internet. So we're not out in the world connecting with people as much as we used to historically. So it's so important to look for opportunities to develop all of those sides of yourself and to find community, to develop your interests, to develop your social skills, your physical skills, your mental well-being. As you do all of those, your likelihood of meeting someone and having a real genuine connection with them romantically goes way up. It's much, much higher than your chances of doing that when you're home swiping with strangers, right? And also, it's like, you know, when you meet someone and they're just like, they're passionate about something. You meet someone and they're like, oh, they love their job, or they have this thing they do that they're so interested in. Yeah, I meet with friends every week and we do this thing, we do LARPing. And I love it. And I make my tools and I build my things and I have all these friends. And then afterwards we go get a beer at the pub. Even if you're not into LARPing and you think that's really weird and cringy, you're like, oh, that's so cool. Like they have this thing to talk about that they love. That is something that makes people attractive. So when you develop that, I play on a softball team and we meet every Sunday and we practice every Wednesday and I have this great group of friends, I do all this stuff. That makes you an interesting, dynamic person, and that's attractive to other people. So when you want to have those connections, when you're feeling friend-zoned, stop focusing on dates and potential mates and really start focusing inward, actually, at your own life. How can you enrich your life in all of those aspects? Community, mental health, physical health, and enriching yourself in your skills, things you like to do and you can develop. Your likelihood of the other pieces falling into place, more friendships, more social life, more things to do, more community, and meeting someone romantically who's into the same things you are goes way, way up. So start there.